Today we are riding Highway 50, the loneliest road in America. We are going west from Ely to Salt Wells in Nevada, riding through desert, mining hill towns, and a salt marsh. Starting the day with a hot breakfast at the Ely KOA. Had pretty views and a quiet sight. It was dark when we got in the night before. We had a fire and enjoyed the stars. Up early in the morning, getting ready for the day. Town of Ely. In 1878, Ely was a camp where soon after gold was discovered. Copper was later discovered in 1906. Around this time, Ely became a stagecoach station along the Pony Express. The Nevada Northern Railway was originally built to connect the copper mines north of Ely to the city. It now runs for tourists as a heritage railway with a steam engine. It offers many different rides, including a geology tour and a haunted train ride. Ely has a sculpture park and many murals around town telling of the town's history. There is also a Renaissance village with museums and shops. Ely's temperatures can range from high 90s during the day to around freezing at night. We were lucky and got the average for the nighttime temperature in the mid-40s. The average nighttime temperature of Ely puts it on the list as one of the coldest places in the continental U.S. The average low in the winter is 11 degrees Fahrenheit. The record low is minus 30. Highway 50 crossing Nevada is a series of valleys with rolling hills. Satellite views of this area look like the wet sand after the tide has gone out. There are patches of forest in the hills. This falls under the Austin Ranger District for the National Forests. Coming out of the hills into another valley. We're riding by a farm. We don't see too many farms or buildings out of the towns on Highway 50. Probably one thing that gives this highway its name, the loneliest road in America. U.S. Highway 50 goes from California to Maryland. This section that crosses Nevada is called the loneliest road in America. It was nicknamed that by Life magazine in 1986. Highway 50 was originally the Pony Express route. The Pony Express was a mail service between Missouri and California using horses. It was founded in 1860 and only ran for 18 months. Riding through the hills was lots of fun, and much better than the super windy valleys. We didn't see a lot of traffic, but we did see more than we expected. We saw everything from mining trucks, trailers, and even bicycles. Of course, a lot of other motorcycles on this route. Not sure what this is on our right, but there is mining in the area. Right is Cherry Spring, and to the left is Windfall Canyon. On the outskirts of the town, Eureka. Eureka, Nevada, known as the friendliest town. In the 2010 census, Eureka had 610 residents. Eureka is a silver, lead ore mining town settled in 1864. The railway was constructed here in 1873 to connect Eureka to the main line and Palisade. One of the steam locomotives, the Eureka, from that railway is now listed in the National Register of Historic Places. On July 4th, the streets in central Eureka are shut down for a parade and street events. Eureka has 3 parts: an indoor swimming pool, 2 baseball fields, a track, and football field. Eureka has a volunteer fire department. The firehouse is fully operational and also contains a museum. The Firehouse Museum has vehicles from the 1870s. To get a tour, contact one of the local firemen. We were trying to find a place open for lunch. Not seeing anything open the first time through the town, we ride back the other way. The hills around Eureka were rich in lead, silver, making it Nevada's second largest mineral producer. The height of the mining was in 1878, and now many of the mines are closed. There's historic hotels, restaurants, and a wildlife museum in Eureka. The Eureka Opera House, which was built in the 1880s, has been renovated and now has performances. Still not seeing anything open, we stopped to look on our phones. Saw this historic cabin while we were stopped. Found a restaurant open for lunch. Back on the road, going west on Highway 50. This section of Highway 50 is on the Central Overland route. This was a trail connecting California, Nevada, and Utah. It was scouted in 1855 and was the main route until the railroad was completed in 1869. The old route was about 280 miles longer to avoid the high mountain passes. However, Howard Egan found a way that was almost straight with lower passes and springs. After this route was developed, it became the popular way for immigrants to go to California. In 1859, the United States Army started improving the trails and the springs for the Central Overland route, making the trip easier for wagons and stagecoaches. Traveling the Central Overland route from the Missouri River to California took about 25 to 28 days. That was traveling day and night and changing their teams every 10 to 20 miles. In 1861, the line from the first transcontinental telegraph was completed. This ended the Pony Express. There were already telegraph lines in the east and the west. The two companies kept building to have their lines meet in Salt Lake City. There are many books and movies describing life in the travels of the Central Overland route. Mark Twain and Horace Greeley are just two of the authors writing of their adventures on this road. Below us is the town of Austin. 2010 census, Austin had a population of 192. The city of Austin was mapped out in 1862. This was during a silver boom in the area. The local legend says that a Pony Express horse kicked over a stone and they noticed it was silver. I thought it was funny, the first thing we see when coming into town is a tow truck. In 1863, Austin and the surrounding mining area had more than 10,000 residents. The town of Austin. In 1880, the Nevada Central Railroad was built to connect Austin to the Transcontinental Railroad. The silver boom had ended by 1887. The town of Austin is a living ghost town. The main street and historic buildings haven't changed much since the silver boom. 3 out of 4 of the churches in town are listed as Nevada historical markers. Many buildings in town, a cave, and a cemetery are listed as National Register of Historic Places. The International Hotel is the oldest hotel in Nevada. It was originally built in Virginia City and moved to Austin in 1863. They still serve drinks and food, but it does not run as a hotel. Turquoise is still mined in Austin and the area. Turquoise jewelry can be found in the shops. Gold and silver are still mined, but not in large quantities. Uranium has been found here, but it is a low quality. When the first transcontinental railroad opened, a telegraph line was placed along the railroad. With the telegraph and railroad, the central overland route wasn't used as much anymore. The old stage and telegraph relay stations were no longer used and were abandoned. A lone house by itself in the valley. We don't pass many of these. We do see the odd road. Most are unmarked, and we're assuming it's rancher's land. On the left is Cold Springs Station Resort. This has a RV park, motel, restaurant, and gift shop. The resort is near the original site of the Pony Express Cold Springs Station. The mountain ranges in this area have antelope, deer, and bighorn sheep. There is public land for hunters. The desert and sand dune areas have lizards, kangaroo rats, scorpions, and birds. Coyotes are found in both areas. There are a few natural springs in this area that will make shallow pools. The Carson River does flow close to here, but most of the water is underground, keeping the ground soft, and the nickname Carson Sink. Sand Mountain Recreation Area. Sand Mountain has OHV riding on the dunes, as well as 23 miles of trails. There is limited camping here, with vault toilets and no water. My gas tank was on reserve, and we were looking for a place to fill over and fill up. The Harley would have made it to Fallon, but my BMW not quite. We found this RV dump site in Salt Wells. Perfect spot to get safely off the road. Filling up the bikes with gas on the loneliest road in America, Highway 50 in Nevada. Got the bikes filled up, continuing west on Highway 50. Thanks for joining me on my ride across the loneliest road in America. Follow me on Facebook and YouTube at Biking with Butterfly and Instagram at BikingWB.